Welcome to the Dan Stevens Show. I have a special guest with me today. His name is P-Bear.
Thanks for having me, Dan. Absolute pleasure and privilege to be on such an esteemed show.
I haven't seen the stats, obviously. First of all, the viewers and listeners are probably going to be wondering about the origin of your name, P-Bear. But just from my point of view, he's an old friend of mine. He's a fellow podcaster. How many episodes into your podcast are you now?
Oh, I've lost count, Daniel, but I'd say at least 30 now, you know.
30.
At least 30, yeah. We're moving on. We're getting them better, you know. The production levels are going up, the experience. We're hoping to get more out this year.
And it's just an audio at the moment?
Just an audio. Well, it's actually on Spotify exclusively at the moment because basically it was just easier for him to do it with a busy home life, you know, at the moment.
And the name of it is?
It's the Bare Necessities podcast.
BEAR Necessities.
Yeah, or TBN for short. TBN.
Very good.
The Bare Necessities.
You're better off getting the plugs in at the start rather than the end, because
absolutely
sometimes people stop listening. So tell us about the origin of the name P-Bear. I'll give you from my perspective again. You came up with this name probably in the early 2010s, was it? We were hanging around together.
Yeah, it's a weird one. So if you remember correctly, obviously you mentioned that we used to pal around back in the calcium days, the good days. But do you remember one of our friends, Brian Davis? He used to call everyone Bone. He'd put like a syllable of a letter. So like one of our friends would have been J Bone, you would have been D Bone, and he called me P Bone. But that kind of stuck for a while. But then I went on a lad's stag. I'm not going to say the person's stag, 'cause I can't remember, but it was in Portugal during the recession era. I always remember because it was my first time in Portugal. And we landed and we went to this little English bar, you know, and there was this kind of, rough barman. And he was calling us all bear. And then one of the lads started calling me P-Bear. And he put on a song, like just a dirty English chav song where it was like, I'm a dirty bear. And then we kind of remixed it where I'm a dirty P-Bear. And then ever since then it stuck and it just grew legs and everyone called me P-Bear, and it's just, you know, I'm a 39-year-old man and people still call me P-Bear. So
yeah,
you know.
You like the name?
I do like it, and you know, I've kind of taken on an alias of it where, you know, where like Patrick Mulholland, the family man, you know, the working man. But then when the lights go out and it's dark and I'm out, you know, solving crimes and stuff, then it's P-Bear, you know.
Yeah. You were booked to be on First Dates Ireland, isn't that right?
I wouldn't say booked. I was chosen to be on First Dates
Ireland.
Yeah, to be on the first First Dates Ireland.
The first season.
The very first episode. Unfortunately, yeah.
So, I mean, we'll go to the end. The end result was that you weren't on it. No. So tell us what happened in between.
So just a quick origin on the whole thing. There was a bet placed by one of our friends. I bet you would not get on First Dates. I think the wager was $50, 50 golden coins at the time. So me being the little go-getter I am, I decided I'm going to get on this show, you know. So I actually went through the whole process. I can't remember the whole process. I think it was like an online thing, a video interview. Then I had to go into the Gibson Hotel in town beside the Tree Arena to do like an interview, and I did it, and apparently they liked me, you know. So I was selected to go on the show. But the problem was, as always, the problem at the time was the date was actually to be filmed at like 2 p.m. on a Sunday, and that's fine by me, you know. But we had a friend's 30th at the time. It was in
2016, right?
This is 2016, so 10 years ago, yeah. And that friend's, this is weird, it would have been around the same time now because that friend's 40th just occurred. So it was his 30th, and it was down in the Straw Hall. Mick OG.
Oh yeah, Mick's a listener.
Yeah.
Mick.
Big shout out to Mick OG, great man. And he had a 30th down in the Straw Hall, great little pub. And I was the designated driver that night, and I drove a few people down. But
and was this in mind? Did you have the date in mind? I want to be fresh. I'm going to be on the telly.
Yeah.
So I'll drive tonight. I won't drink, and I'll be fresh as a daisy for 2 o'clock
Fresh
tomorrow.
as a daisy, all clean, shaven. Yeah. Walk up to the Gibson Hotel, have a possible great date with a great lady.
The love of your life.
The love of my life, and then get that 50 quid off one of the lads to say I was on it, you know. So I was going to see through the whole thing. But when we got to the Straw Hall, we were there. There was music. There was bands. Everyone was talking. Everyone was like, "Padjo, you're not drinking." And P-Bear, you're not having a pint. And I was like, "No." And I never told them why, the reason why. But then after about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I said, "I'll have one. Sure, I'll have a little sip of sherry. Nothing can go wrong. A little sip of sherry." And then, you know yourself, the machine took over, you know.
Yeah.
I had another sip of sherry.
Keep just similar distance.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Right.
Had another sip of sherry. And then before long...
Do you remember the moment when you... Because I remember this, when I got arrested for drink driving in Florida, I remember the moment that I made the decision. Do you remember the moment?
There was never...
And what was the drink? Was it actually sherry?
No, I was drinking pints, I think. I had a few pints and maybe a couple of little shorts, you know, a couple of the whiskies or something.
You went for it anyway.
Yeah, 2016 was the whiskey phase, so I started drinking whiskey at the time. But there was never there was no definitive moment where I said, I'm not going. What happened was we ended up going back to an after party, which we always did back in the days, bit of music, bit of singing. And I think I went to get the head down, you know, because I have a date in the morning. And I think everyone was laughing, going, "You're not going to make that."
What time is this at now?
This would have been at, you know, 3 to 2 a.m., you know, depending on what country you're living in, you know. We were living in Ireland at the time, so it was about 3 a.m. But I said, I'm going to get the head down. I said, I have a date at 12. So I had a clear, concise plan. I was going to go home early, get the car, go back, have a shower, throw on the glad rags, the super skinny jeans, make my way into the Gibson and woo that lady, you know. But, as we all know, it never happened.
Was I at that party?
You were indeed at that party. I think you were up at the table dancing, yeah. The Spice Girls, yeah. Your favourite band at the time.
Yeah.
But there was me, you, and Charlie Gilday, another great man, and we were having a few drinks late at night. It always ended up just being us three at the end, you know. But I did get the head down. But I remember waking up at around midday. I heard birds chirping. You know, the sunlight was creeping through the blinds, and I woke up. I looked at my watch and I just went, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" You know, panic just seeped in. I wasn't going to make it. It was just impossible, you know.
But you had 2 hours. You're not a woman.
I know, yeah, but I had 2 hours. Like I had to get from Deep in Mead up to the Straw Hall, back to Finglas. I was living in Finglas at the time. The car was still there. Now I could have gone the state it was in, but I was in no state to go, and I wouldn't do that to the poor girl. But actually, what I did was actually worse because I actually stood her up. But the weirdest part and the sickest part in RTE, you have a lot to answer for as well. They actually filmed the girl being stood up on the first episode.
Oh.
So when the show did eventually air, the first episode, the girl was stood up on it. She was actually from Liverpool. She's a beautiful girl. She was way too good for me and my bad timekeeping skills. But I literally seen the episode. And
it was just the timekeeping, yeah.
It was the timekeeping, yeah. Nothing to do with the 4 sherries I had. It's always the 4th sherry just the damage.
Just
Yeah, but I do remember the backlash then. It was actually, we had another friend, if you remember, to add to the story. Do you remember we went to Mayo for the friend's 30th?
Ballycastle.
I
have a little listenership in Ballycastle as well.
Ballycastle. We went down for...
McDermott's are good supporters.
On Mayo. But we went to Ballycastle and there was a reporter friend that we had at the time. She was a reporter. I can't remember what media outlet she worked for. And she thought the story was hilarious and goes, "Would you be able to do a little piece?" Oh. Yeah, so she goes, "We'll do a little piece and will you take a phone call?" So P-Bear being the open book that I am, I was happy to say, yeah, no problem. So a week or two passed, you know, and I always remember this. I was up in Witherspoons, or the Great Wood as it's coined, and I was having maybe another little sherry, you know.
Which used to be heaven.
Used to be heaven. Yeah, it used to be like
used to be the local nightclub. Go on anyway.
Great times there. And I got a phone call. I was actually on a date, would you believe? I can't remember who the lucky lady was, or the unlucky lady per se. But I got on the phone, did the interview over the phone. Never do an interview over the phone after having 4 or 5 sherries. And I spoke to the girl and she says, what happened? And she actually took me word for word. But then, to my shock and horror, on the Sunday World newspaper, they had a two-pager of soldier, drunken soldier boy, sailor boy, whatever. They had pictures of the girl, pictures of me. They took pictures. This is why you never trust the media, guys. They took pictures from my Facebook. I don't even know where they got them. Me in army uniform, me doing this and that. And it was like a hit piece, but I liked it. It was funny. It was a hit piece, and it was like little lines about Prosecco. On the show, the girl ordered Prosecco, and I said, I'm glad I didn't go because I would have been paying for Prosecco. At the time, Prosecco was like a foreign exotic drink to me. I didn't realise €8 a bottle. I thought Prosecco was like, champagne or something. Yeah. Just shows what a rural country boy I was at the time.
Yeah. And did you say this with 4 or 5 points in you? So you took the phone call from the Sunday World journalist 4 or 5 points in, whilst on another date, about standing up the girl.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
you made that comment about the prosecco.
I did indeed. Yeah, indeed. And I didn't realise, like, I know you can get a bottle of prosecco for like about $9 now, but at the time I thought it was $90. And at the
Oh my
time, 10 years
god!
ago, it was different economy back then. Not a bottle of prosecco with a bottle of could be a bottle of champagne.
You brought a girl to Witherspoons on a date. What
The
the?
Great Wood.
Oh my! It's Witherspoons. Would you stop? Maybe that's why they named them that.
She can
They
order
give them all
anything
these-
she wants off the menu, though.
they
Is
give
it
them all these-
and you want?
Give them-
Oh, and you want off the small menu. You
Except
can't
the
have
daiquiris.
none of the foreign beers.
Yeah.
They're an extra euro.
Oh.
Where have you gone on dates with ladies now? What's the worst place you ever brought a lady on date?
This isn't about me.
This is true, actually. I'm trying to deflect here because
No, it is. No. I'm happy to. The worst date I ever brought a woman on. Jess, there's a few popping into my head now. Well, I thought it was the best day, but she thought it was the worst day, and it was a disaster. Basically, I brought her to the tea gardens in town.
Nice.
So it's still there. Do you know it?
I can't say I do, no.
It's
but
on
I
the
heard
north
it.
side quays, called the Tea Gardens. You walk downstairs, you sit on a little thing on the ground, a little not a whoopee cushion, a bean bag. Yeah. Imagine that. They put a whoopee cushion there.
When you first sit down, you go, and the date is off to a bad start. Excuse me.
I must get her down for that seat, actually. But she was not at all impressed. I think she wanted me to bring her for a drink, and it didn't last long. We didn't even get through the pot of tea. You could pick loads of different tea, and then I was driving the van back. I was driving a brutal caddy at the time. It was the C. Stevens electric. I think it was a '96. The
Shaggy,
a white caddy with a squirrel on the side.
shaggy caddy.
Oh. My dad's nickname was the Squirrel, so there was a squirrel on the side of the van. And it broke down halfway through the park. And pissing rain. So it broke down. I had to ring my old man. She got a taxi home, never heard from her again.
Sounds like like a cheap Netflix film. Like one of those. Like it is a good date if you're in America and a Hallmark card.
Yeah.
But in Ireland with rain and whatever, doesn't really like a nice little perfect date like that doesn't happen in Ireland.
No.
But if you're living in like a little town in Pennsylvania over the winter, it sounds like a great day.
Yeah.
But not here. It doesn't work. You just have to go to the pub, have a drink, go to Witherspoons, order what you want, enjoy yourself.
With their spoons. Why would you bring her there?
At the time, I don't know. At the time, financially, it was just made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was what was the fallout like from the article? What socials were you on at the time? And where were you getting the flack?
I think this is around 2016. It was 2016, excuse me. It would have been around just the start of summer. Because I remember, because I was going away with the army. And the army, I was heading to Lebanon on a mission with the army. And there was another hit piece put out a following week. So they actually did a radio skit where I was going to bring her on another day to make up for the last day.
Who did a radio skit? 98
FM and FM 104. So it actually gathered legs here. So because I stood her up and there was a bit of a national response to it, obviously people were disgusted. I actually, do you know what? On Facebook, you mentioned socials. I received, I'd say, 20 to 30 messages from women, females, who I didn't know, asking me how I was, how are you, from the name. So they've seen it in the article, and I got friend requests and messages, like private messages on Facebook from women all over the country. Now, not like a Ted Bundy thing or something, but they were just like, how are you? You're gas. I think you're very funny. You're very handsome, blah, blah.
Oh.
So the national disgrace of the girl, everyone feeling bad for the girl, 20 to 30, I can't remember the exact figure, we're just doing average, 25 ladies thought, oh, he's a bad boy, I like him,
You were like, play your cards right, I'll bring you the Witherspoons.
The Great Wood. I'll bring you the Great Wood and show you the Great Wood.
Yeah. So that's a net positive, isn't it?
Well, it is.
There's a lot of female attention then.
Well, it is, but like a lot of friends or friends. You say Facebook, you have 1,000 Facebook friends. How many are friends? They're friends on Facebook, they're not your friends. But acquaintances, people you met in life or passed in life, they all thought it was hilarious, and then a lot of like see, we're all Insta and TikTok and all now. Facebook at the time, a lot of people were posting the newspaper article and then tagging me in it and just saying gas funny. So a lot of people found it funny. It was funny. Now, what probably wasn't funny for the girl, but in hindsight, that girl got a lot of attention because a lot of people had sympathy for her.
Yeah.
She was a beautiful girl. She didn't need sympathy, but a lot of people had sympathy that she was stood up.
Yeah.
And she got more stuff on the newspapers and stuff as well, you know. But she did decline my make-up date offer. But the sad thing was...
Oh, did you message her?
In the original newspaper article, at the bottom of it, I said I'd like to make it up to her and take her out again.
Yeah.
But that got taken on by the radio stations. I think it was 98 FM and FM 104. They got her on air and she declined that offer. But they were going to pay for a fancy day.
Oh.
They were going to put us on a fancy date. Like, I don't know what it entailed. It could have been a little river cruise down to Liffey or something. I don't know. The tea gardens, you know, VIP.
It's hard to beat the Great Wood.
Yeah. But she declined. Rightfully so, she declined because, you know, she was let down once. So, you know.
Yeah.
So fair play to her.
Fool me once.
Whoopee cushioned me twice.
There you go. Interesting. There you go.
Yeah,
now you're back in the public eye again. Is this your first public appearance since?
Oh, I've been hiding in a cave.
Yeah,
I've been in a cave in Mulholland there for the last 10 years.
Okay. Did we live in Australia together?
I don't...
I see, I moved into your room in Perth when you left Perth, hey? When you left Perth.
Our room. It was our room.
Yeah. You were in just Perth, wasn't it?
I was in Perth. I was settled in Perth. I was in Australia for about 4 minutes. But about 6 months, but I was in Perth for the majority of that. But I did go to the East Coast. Is it Gold Coast? What's it called? The Gold Coast? I went to Melbourne, Sydney, and the other one, Brisbane.
Brisbane,
Love, yeah. I went to that on a little week on a week trip. I went to all them, but I didn't settle there. So I did see other parts, but I settled in Perth. So yes.
Yeah, and you had a good experience there.
Honestly, do you know what? When I was booking Perth, right, I had a steady job at the time. So, like, to go back again, a lot of people went to Australia because
steady job. You were in the army.
I had the army. I had a steady job. A lot of people had no work here, and they said, "F it, we're going to Australia." Rightfully so, and they just went off. They got work, like yourself or whatever, you know. And I just went. In my envision of Australia was, it was like a college frat thing. I was going to a house with a swimming pool. All my friends are going to be there. All going to be drinking Fosters. There's going to be kangaroos. Or I'll be boxing them. It's going to be a party. But when I got there, I got a bit of a shocker because the minute I got there, I had a job after a day, which I didn't even want. I got talked into taking a job in a bar, you know, as a barman. I never did a barman in my life. I've been in many bars, but I've never been behind the bar. And I got a job. So my experience there, it was good because I was happy to be there. But I ended up working more there for less money and not seeing my friends. It was less drinking, less partying. It was more like I was sold something, but maybe I sold it in my brain. I went, and then it didn't live up to my expectations, you know.
Yeah.
Personally, yeah.
And this was in Perth. You got the job
in Perth, yeah. Day one. So day one, our friend Jerry had gone to work, and I was left in the apartment where our room was, and I jumped on a bus, jumped on public transport, went down to to Perth City, the big city. I jumped off the bus. It was like that girl in New York. It was like, looks like I'm gonna make, and then an Aboriginal tried to stab me straight away. That was my first experience in Perth. Then I creeped on down to the river, the Swan River, and I sat down and ordered
an Aboriginal.
An Aboriginal.
You are the dancing queen, young and sweet.
An Abba OG. Yeah. You threatened to stab me if I didn't give him $1, you know. He called me a CUNT. So that was my first experience. I think it was give me $1, you CUNT. But then I went down to the Swan River and I sat down. I ordered a beer. Didn't like the beer over there as well. I thought it was very piss water. Again, it was too heavy. Took a sip out of it. Got chatting to the barman or the bar owner, and I can't remember his name. He escapes me, but he was a big Aussie man, big stereotypical Aussie man with 2 metal knees. So he walked weird, and he shouted a lot, and he kind of racially abused me a good bit as well. At the time, I didn't think of it because I'm Irish. I don't want to get offended, but if you want to reverse the roles, he used to make me say 33 and a third all the time. So it was a bit. I took it as a laugh, but he was stereotypically racially abusing me. So if you flip the coin around now, and I did that to another minority in a different country, it would have been abuse, you know. Yeah. But I didn't take it as abuse because I'm Irish and I take a laugh out of it. But his name was Bill, Big Bill.
Right.
And I ended up working there. So after a day, I was in the city 20 minutes and I ended up getting a job. I didn't want a job. Right. I wanted to chill for a while.
Yeah.
And I ended up working straight away in a bar that I didn't know about.
How long were you working there for?
The whole duration.
Were you?
Yeah. And this is where it gets weird, right? And this is not me, what's it called? Tooting my own horn. There was a guy working in the bar there about 20 years. Can't remember his name. Nice guy, black hair, Aussie, whatever. Nice fella. Helped me out at the start. Within a month, I was his boss, and two other staff were there, and I was the manager in 2 months. And I just came home to me where the work ethic over there, your man was very chill. He didn't want to be manager, right? Because he wanted responsibility because it didn't come with much more money, you know. So I ended up running the bar, and I ended up doing the rotors, the shifts, the orders, everything. It became work. Like, I was doing more work over there than I was doing in Ireland.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. And I wasn't getting paid well for it. So I asked for a pay rise. They gave me a slight pay rise. And I could have asked them for more, but it was like, I'm here. Do you know what I mean? But it wasn't enjoyable for me.
It's actually the opposite of what you wanted, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You wanted a party.
I wanted to be in a
and
spell.
you must have had money, like enough money to party for a few months there, did
I
you?
had a few bobs squirreled away there, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like we all like when you entered our country, you had to have a certain amount of money, didn't you?
Yeah.
They never checked, but you're meant to have it. Did they ever check?
Couple of grand.
They never checked
I'm
it.
not sure.
Yeah, like when you're in customs, they don't go whip out your phone there and show me.
Yeah.
So it was all just recommended, I think.
You have memories of me disliking the other Irish people over there, didn't
I think I remember me and you used to have a couple of phone conversations, maybe one every week. I think you were in the bush. You were in the middle of nowhere at this stage. You had left wherever you were. You were in Brisbane. Am I correct in saying that?
Could have been in Rockhampton, I think.
Yeah, you went to Rockhampton. It was in the middle of nowhere. You're working in a hotel or something. Just correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, and then when you ended up in Perth, I think the Irish Perth was heavily Irish. There was a lot of Irish there, and it would have been a lot of Irish who'd never left Ireland before. So they would have rocking up with a stick and their GA jerseys on a little bag, and they would have gone straight to the local pub and spending their money on piss and drinking and causing trouble.
Yeah.
So it gave the Irish a bad name, and that was the thing we didn't want. Now the Aussies are no angels, but we didn't want to be seen like that. So I think that antagonised you, and it antagonised me as well a little bit. And these be Irish people who you'd see on the street in Ireland, and they wouldn't look at you twice. But the minute you're in down under Australia, they just automatically assume that you're brethren or best friends, and you obviously didn't like that, and I didn't like that either. You know.
Yeah, it was. There was very much a group mentality and I get that, like if a minority goes to a different country, a lot of people at once emigrated to Australia for economic reasons.
Yeah.
Because there was no work in Ireland, the whole bottom had fallen out of the building trade and everything. They went over there and
started life.
They would never have been out of their hometowns before.
Yeah.
So this is people that are from small country towns, leaving Ireland for the first time. They would probably never even been in Dublin. Yeah. And next thing you know, they're working, and Australia was extremely busy at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
The economy was booming there and growing. So next thing they're into this, they're labouring or they're doing whatever in this new place, in this new city. So I can kind of understand now in hindsight that they're gonna look for their own for comfort, and they're gonna hang around together. At the time, I was just like, you know, it was probably easy for us because we're from Dublin and we're used to the big cities and we know how to act. But for me, it was like, just get the fuck away from me. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. And I was labelled an anti-band by them.
Yeah, I remember
at a house party.
I remember Sinead, you know, Jer's wife.
Yeah.
I think, was there a bunch of them in GA jerseys, and it just really set you off. I remember Sinead saying,
people used to get a great laugh out of me getting pissed off about them.
I actually still laugh at it now. But I think Sinead's take was, she's very Oscailga, you know, she's in touch with the Oscailga culture, you know, and she was like, they're trying to, you know, feel at home.
Recreate.
So if you see a Roscommon jersey, a Sligo jersey, whatever, you'd see them and you naturally bond together like the herd, and you feel, I miss Tato Crisps, I miss home, I miss Kerry Butter, you know, and you being a man of the world, you were out there to get new experiences. You wanted to go away. You don't want cuddle in Australia. You want to eat kangaroo and on the barbie. You want the culture where they were bringing their Irish culture to Australia and trying to make Australia Irish. And that annoyed you, in my opinion, and that's the same to me. Like, I don't go to Tokyo and sit there and eat stew in a sushi bar. I go and eat this fresh tuna from Tokyo Bay because I'm in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there and ask for a pint of Guinness and then drink and eat stew. Because what's the point? I'm in Tokyo, you know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong, if there's a little Irish bar down the lane, I might go once a month if I feel homesick. But I'm not going to try and make Tokyo Irish. A lot of the Irish trying to turn Australia into Ireland in the sun. And I think that annoyed you because you were there for experience and they were ruining your experience.
Yeah.
Personally, that's what I think.
Yeah, well, I think you're right as well, and it all culminated in a trip to a house party. Jerry and Sinead knew what they were doing. They set me up. I wanted to go to the bar in Perth. I wanted to see what it was like. Next thing you know, I'm in the suburbs in a house. 11 lads and 2 women, one toilet, 2 bedrooms. It was like a fucking iPad centre.
Was there
Well, I'd imagine an iPad centre to be like.
Was there C-type charger things on the wall like the iPad centers? No,
I don't know.
they have all the fancy charging ports.
But it was like, I don't know. It was, there was at least 11 of them. I don't know. I kind of went into a bit of a, got a bit dizzy when I went in. Like I was like, what is going on here? And I was drinking straight tequila at the time.
Nice.
Refrigerated straight tequila, and
With the salt as well, or are you drinking it?
No, just straight. Jose Cuervo, chilled.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Haven't drank it since actually, but it was heavy shit. Speaking of heavy shit, I went into their bathroom. No plumbing whatsoever. All of these people are working as well, by the way.
And they're all plumbers. They're all probably plumbers.
Probably were. And there was just a toilet, a toilet there, and a bucket beside it. And they were just slopping out with the bucket. I went in, there was 4 mattresses on the ground in one of the rooms. And then out into the kitchen, and Jerry Byrne then, I think I might have told this story on the podcast before, but Jerry Byrne is out there laughing. It's all Sinead's friends.
Yeah.
Jerry's wife, and Jared is our friend, obviously, and Sinead is as well, but Jared is laughing at me. And then he goes to the toilet. And I was like, wait till he comes back, and I want to...
Did it break him?
See what he thinks. But while he's in the toilet, 4 or 5 lads of them, a gaggle of them were there, and one of them breaks out a guitar, brutal guitar. There was a string missing off it and all. He starts playing Lord Light of Field, and some Irish song, and I was just like,
it was just too Irish.
Graffiti on the wall and the sun was going down. Too Irish, and I was like, I'm not into that when I'm at home. Why would I be into it here?
It was like a Mad Max kind of setting in Tampa Bar, where there was like a nuclear, like something destroyed everything, and it's just little remnants of Ireland left.
Yeah,
it's like that.
Something like that. Yeah, and come on over here. Don't be over there on your own. They said to me. I was like, I'm waiting for my friend to come out of the toilet, and they're like, you won't. You're only an anti-band.
Anti-band. Yeah, is that like an anti-vax? Is it?
What it is.
Were they singing shit stains on the wall?
And one of them as well, apparently. Shit stains on the wall, yeah. But anyway, that's the experience I had there. I loved. See, it was as well. What made it more, what made it kind of
torturous?
Because I saw the contrast of. I'd been on nights out with my brother who lived there 9 or 10 years in Brisbane, and he assimilated kind of. He worked for an Australian company as an engineer. He had Australian mates. I'd be in contact with Australian women and stuff at the time, and I was like, Jesus, they're so beautiful.
He kept his Irishness, but he respected their culture, and then I was happy to indulge in their culture to get the experience of being in Australia.
Yeah, well,
he kept his identity,
He kept his identity, and he played Gaelic football there as well. So every week he'd go to the Gaelic club, but apart from that, he played for East Celts in Brisbane. Yeah. And that was great. He got his hit there of like still keeping fit and hanging around Irish people. But going on a night out with him and his mates like that, and just the streets that they'd go to, and it was so cool. You'd have bars with no doors on them and just cool music playing and just having a few tasty beers. It was just like, and the weather was lovely and warm, and it just beautiful women.
You got the postcard, you know what I mean? And then this was the reality. But
pretty much,
I think, again, hindsight's a great thing. If you could buy hindsight in the middle aisle in Aldi, we'd be all laughing, you know what I mean? But like those young Irish, the gaggle of Irish that had that, that crack den, and they were, when I say crack den, I don't mean like the drug, I mean crack, C-R-A-I-C, Irish crack. But I don't even think when they're living in their small rural towns in Ireland, Roscommon or whatever, I'm just generalising, I don't think they do that either. They wouldn't go to the pub, the GA club and sit there doing that, but I think they just didn't have an experience of the world, as we said at the start. So when they were going there, they all heard it together. They just decided what was working for them, Irishness and all, do you know what I mean? But at the same time, they're missing out. And I think more that probably upset you more, not upset you, like, didn't upset your day, but probably annoyed you that they weren't getting the good Australian buzz that you had, you know?
Yeah.
And then maybe it came out like me in a smoking area arguing over housing prices with some nice person like you, just getting annoyed because you feel like they're missing out on where they are.
Yeah.
They could have been out in a nice bar speaking to Aussies, and they're all gaggled together in a shitty toilet playing Irish music. You know?
And they were all working, and they were actually boasting about stealing from their boss's petrol tank. So anyway, that was that. Yeah. And it all culminated in me. I ended up in hospital then that night. Right. I was full of tequila, and they went. I ran out of that house. I ran down the road.
So you went full stereotypical Irish then, you had to get your stomach pumped?
No, I'm knocked out.
Oh, you got in a physical altercation with them?
The bouncers threw me down the stairs because I was mimicking an Irish barmaid.
Right.
She wouldn't serve me for ages. She must have looked at the head on me and...
You were full of tequila?
Full of Jose Cuervo. And then she's like, can I help you? And I was like, can I help you? And then she's like, what? You're next. I was like, yeah, I'm there for ages. I was like, I've been here for ages. I started doing her voice back to her. Yeah. Then she just called the bouncers. They grabbed me and brought me down the stairs. I think they brought me down the stairs and they used my head to through the door.
As a battering ram.
Yeah.
I had that a few times.
Yeah, and then hospital and...
Do you remember that time we did the 12 pubs years ago? One of the 12 pubs is gone now, but we did it years ago. We were living in the apartment, just on the battering ram kind of thing. And we went in. I wasn't feeling great for a few weeks. I kept taking Benylin and all those cheap things, but I think I just needed antibiotics. But we ended up going in and we went to the Foggy Chew, a nice bar, and the barman wouldn't serve me. I wasn't even drunk. He just kept going past me and antagonised me. So eventually I threw a drink at him. Do you remember that?
I wasn't there.
I didn't throw a glass at him. I threw the contents of the glass at him. And the bouncers picked me up and they used my head repeatedly as a battering ram. But I always remember shouting, not the face, not the face. Because I obviously didn't know what the face was the moneymaker. And they threw me out on the street. And I just went, I believe I had a jacket. And they threw the jacket at me. But so we're brothers in that now, where we both got used to battering rams, you know?
Yeah.
Didn't do us any harm, you know?
No, so look at us now. We're flying it. Oh yeah, here's this is one from on the pub scene when we were younger. The Greyhound days. We used to... The Greyhound was the place to be in Blanchardstown, wasn't it?
Back in the day. You know that meme? It's like, ooh, baby, go to Greyhound.
Yeah.
The kind of, it was. It's had its ups and downs, but more ups and downs, you know. Yeah. It has been really a staple like of nightlife.
But what used to... The same way in that the Australian... the Irish, it wasn't the people that annoyed me. It was what was going on there with but the same thing. And I used to notice. I'm very strange today. I think it's kind of, I don't understand it sometimes. But what used to annoy me was movie quotes. All the lads repeatedly doing Anchorman at the time.
I'd be guilty of that as well. Yeah.
I think you were one of them.
Yeah.
And did you ever notice me not liking that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, but it was more humour in watching you being annoyed at. To watch your face just crumple up in anger, you know, like, you know, why wouldn't we keep going? You know.
Yeah, it was a thing of I think it's second-hand humour or something.
It's recycled garbage. Yeah. But you have, like, you're a critical thinker, so you like to think, you know, authentic kind of jokes, like, hence why you're a comedian. You can actually write a joke out and then go through the whole process of a joke. Some people don't have that skill, you know. Some people use a comedian's joke and then try and recycle it, you know.
Yeah.
It's just lazy humour, you know. But, you know.
But it works, I guess, doesn't it?
It works, but, you know, it's the gaggle. If everyone's seen the film and everyone enjoys it and then there's a bit of laughter, you know, it's infectious. People jump in, but I agree with you. The Anchorman thing was the most over-quotely thing in the world. You know,
everyone was at it, were they? It probably wasn't just our friend group.
Yeah, but I think human beings in general, like we are. I don't know where we're from. I don't think we're animal. I don't think we're animals or mammals. I think we're put here or we're made in a lab or something. I don't know. Again, going mad shit here, but like if you hear something funny and laugh, like if you were standing there and 3 people are laughing in the smoking area, you're standing on your own. You know, and then you get sucked into the laugh. You will go in. It's infectious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So being a part of something or Anchorman jokes, it brought people together. You know, it is stupid, but it is totally, utterly, overly done. And I'll give you an example now. Like, does this, do you hear this thing 6-7?
I've heard it briefly, yeah.
Yeah, it was explained to me by a colleague where it came from. I'm not gonna relay it because it's just convoluted and stuff. But my daughters now do it. So my daughter, I have a 6-year-old daughter and have a nearly 4-year-old daughter. They're doing it now, and I keep saying what, and they just love it. They keep going 6-7. So they're young, but that's their.
What does it mean?
I apparently there was someone did a TikTok,
Okay.
and it was something to do with basketball, and he did TikTok, and it just grew legs. It was a trend, and it's just taken over. I'm not going to go into the whole detail of it because I can't be clear and concise about it, but whatever. My daughter's in Ireland and Navan Mead now are going to an Irish school, and they're coming back going 6-7, and they're doing the scale again.
I had my nephew as well. He's 7. He probably 6 at the time.
Is he 6 or 7?
He was I had the Spotify out. That's a beauty. He had the Spotify out. I had the Spotify out. I was like, what song do you want? And I'd be trying to play him a bit of Bohemian Rhapsody now, you know what I mean? Get a bit of culture into him.
Get a bit of Queen into him.
But he's like, play Brain Rot. And I'm like,
what, you stick on U2 then?
what's Brain Rot? Why is he saying Brain Rot?
Brain rot.
And then like bed rotting is another thing. There's all sorts of rot going on. Like,
yeah, see, who does like, Miss Rachel, the kid person?
I've seen her,
yeah, right.
Egypt.
But she does kid stuff. Yeah, right. I mean, she's like
Blippi as well.
She's in Egypt, but she's
Blippi. I won't trust
well,
he's
gone.
Blippi.
He's gone. There's multiple Blippies. There's multiple Blippies. So they changed the actor about 3 times.
What happened, Blippi?
I don't know. He's on crack or something. I don't know. He's on the fentanyl, but he's gone.
On the Epstein
now
probably.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
They don't exist. The Epstein files don't exist. They're the distraction for a distraction. Anyway, the what are we talking about? We're talking about the
6-7 brain
Who sat down in a room and goes, right, I'm gonna be a musical conductor. Right, what's my first song gonna be called? Right, Brain Rot. Who did that?
I don't know.
No one does that. You get me? Like, and you're talking about Queen. Did you ever see Queen when Freddie Mercury wrote that Bohemian Rhapsody, and he's sitting there and he's obviously talking about pain and strife in his life, and he's like, "Mama," and he's breaking out.
Yeah.
Who sat down and goes, "I'm gonna write a song called Brain Rot for toddlers"?
Yeah.
Like, how f did the hedge have to be like?
I know. And again, I was watching, and this is it's a matter of taste, right? But like, Matt, for example, she's always popping up on my TikTok. A very popular Irish artist. Has a song, and the butcher, the baker, the band, the candlestick, I don't know, it has a dance and everything.
Right.
And I remember I was after listening to Purple Rain by Prince, and sometimes I'll have a few beers and watch that video of him singing that song live, Purple Rain,
Yeah.
or watch the actual video itself. And then I remember watching that on my telly, and then Seema came on, like, singing her song, and I was like, is this... And people in the comments are like, she's the best thing ever to come out of Ireland.
Is the machine behind her?
And I don't want to diss her. She has her fans, and it's catchy. She's a good artist. But I'm like, if that's the best we can offer now, like, and like,
is the machine behind her? When I say the machine, is the music machine behind her? Is Sony Ireland behind her? She getting the push?
Well, it's like that very dance that is like.
Yeah.
She's saying she did the butcher, the baker, home, and the family maker. I did schoolgirl fantasies, and it has all these movements. So it's like everything that a single woman, would be talking about if they don't have a fella.
So is it kind of like a kind of feminist kind of tone?
I think so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can't comment on that because we're masculine.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But that's their thing. Like, that's why it's so popular.
Yeah.
No, it's similar to the way certain stuff would appeal to us. It's just a certain market.
So she's singing about what society expects of her. While Prince is singing about how he doesn't want to be someone's weekend lover because he loves her. Or him or her.
But it's the music and the way
it's the soul is the
Yeah.
I'm not a creative peer, as I said at the start. I'm a semi-professional, unpaid agitator. I'm not creative now. Everyone's creative in their own way. You're a comedian. You're a paid professional comedian. I have friends who are paid musicians. Not magicians, musicians. They create music. I find that whole thing just amazing, and it just still amazes me. How someone can sit down, write out a joke, the layers of a joke, or write out a song, lyrics, music, then create that, and then put that out for people to enjoy, you know, like art. Like I still find it mad. I don't have that skill, do you know what I mean? I'd love to be like a writer or something and stuff, you know, or formulate my thoughts. I don't have that skill. I wasn't given that skill. I was given other skills. I was given skills of arguing with people in pubs. But like, to me, that's amazing, do you know what I mean? So I don't know about that Seema. I will look into her a little bit and see. I'll see, Matt. But I'll see, like, does she write her own stuff? Who's
I
behind
think
her?
she does. No, I'm not saying she's bad.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
she's very good at what she does, but it's just, if you're looking for, I don't know. We just went through a golden era, I think, in the 80s.
Like, he was one in a million.
Prince,
wasn't he?
Oh.
And he went against the record companies, wasn't he? He was the one that was saying, remember that Mariah Carey album? There was a Mariah Carey album in the 90s, right? She got 100 million. It was the first 100 million album for her to receive it. And everyone was like, Jesus, Mariah Carey, she's, you know, minted. She obviously was minted, but at the time, and maybe still to this day, record companies take majority of the profits from the artists, you know. And Prince was the first to highlight that. So this is what he went after. When I say they, I'm not talking about they in the pyramid, I'm talking about the music execs. Went after him, and he explained the Mariah deal through, you know, each record, say $20 a record, broke it all down, and Mariah was actually only receiving probably 12.6 before tax. Yeah. So after her taxes, she was getting 6 million. So the record was a 100 million deal, but after everyone was paid, all the handlers were paid, the executives got their bonuses, X and Y, Z, and down to the pennies, she was about 6 million in. So if you think of a small record deal of someone getting 5 million, they're getting 100 grand. Yeah. And they have to pay tax on that. And this is why you have the likes of all the people in the 90s that are like, you know, are doing all, coming back on their 25-year tours, because touring is the money now to make their money, because they never made money when they were big, because all the money was siphoned off, you know. So it's, you know, it's hard. Music business, I don't know much about the music business, but I know Sony Ireland, for say, you know, would take a lot of the profits from an artist, and say if someone gets to open up for someone in the Three Arenas, so say, who's a big artist at the moment in your opinion, like a big
comedian, Ricky Gervais or something.
Ricky Gervais, right? So if he was selling out, he'd sell out the Three Arena 3 nights in a row, right? Wherever 13,000 seated, right? But say Sony Ireland wanted to put a comedian, I'm not saying Sony Ireland would, say they wanted to put a comedian to open up for him, that comedian or singer would have to pay Sony Ireland to open up to get the exposure. You know, you think, oh, I'm opening up for Ricky Gervais, I'm going to make a fortune. No, you have to pay out your pocket to open up for him, to get the exposure. So when the ads go out, it's Ricky Gervais with Dan Stevens with XYZ. You'd have to pay out your pocket.
Would you?
Yeah, that's how the music industry works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know when
comedy.
Not for comedy yet, but for music, that's how it works.
Really?
So yeah.
Okay.
Sony Ireland do that now. They might have changed it. The last time I heard it was a couple of years ago. They've done that, and I've verified that. And I find that mind-boggling, because you think, I'm opening up for a big artist here. This is my break, but it's going to cost you. Cost you your soul in the long term, but I mean, it costs you money in the short term.
Yeah.
Now, I have to spend money to make money, but I just find that mind-boggling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I always thought
definitely.
that was weird.
It is. It's not fair, is it?
No, it's
Was
not.
it always that way?
I don't know. But all I know is...
But Prince called it out.
He was the first one to call it out when he was on shows.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, basically saying, you know, he went against him. And it's the stream, when the streaming started, everyone championed Taylor Swift, you know, Swifties and all. Oh, she did this. But he was doing that for years. He was a pioneer in that. He was saying, we want, the artist should get a larger cut of their work, because it's their artistic property.
Yeah.
You know, it's their slave labour, it's their blood, sweat and tears, they're putting it into it. Why should some fella who just produces it get the majority of the profits, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What was the other thought that I had? One more thing before we go. There's loads I could talk to you about, by the way.
Yeah.
And I will say, actually, please follow if you're listening or watching on Spotify. Say that again. Follow if you're watching or listening on Spotify. Rate 5 stars, or Apple, or wherever you're watching and listening. Please like and subscribe and share on YouTube as well. And thank you once again for watching and listening. We're coming to the end of this episode now. This is just another little thought that I got, and see what your take is on it. Little thought that I had. There's a lot of, especially in the comedy world. The comedy world is like, in Ireland, I think, is like what would you call it? It's like the point of the arrow of, like, if you go to a comedy club, say if you went to a comedy club every weekend for a month, I think you would kind of understand where people's heads are at with regards to what's going on in the world. And what you will hear is a lot of America bashing, UK bashing, and Trump bashing and stuff, and some of it justified, probably a lot of it justified. But what I found ironic was, and online you see it as well. Everybody, it's an easy target, America, for slagging and for taking the piss out of. So a lot of people do it. And I think even if I was to go on like a pro Trump monologue here or whatever, you would think that I'd probably lose followers. I don't know. People would probably find
possibly,
it. Yeah. But I'm not pro anything. There's more nuance to stuff than that, as you know. But the mad thing is that I find that the people, when I'm listening to the videos or the comedians, the online stuff, or the stuff on stage, or just in general, people who are slagging off America and Trump, usually their accents are kind of more American than anyone else's.
Like Southern American, or?
No, I think they just have an American twang to their accent.
You mean Irish people who are invested in American politics, and when they're speaking about it, their voice gets more Californian?
I don't know what it is that's making their voices more like that.
It's like, do you ever see that?
Is it just the interest in American politics?
Well, I don't know. I've always had this mad kind of. I always thought it was weird
because just for a second, right? We used to have North Side accent, like posh or else working class. So the Dublin accent was kind of more of an English accent, like it was like that, more like English and
West,
wasn't it?
West Brit.
But now it's kind of like more American. Like what's happening there?
Like if you're driving through North Dublin, right, and you have your sat nav on, I always remember this skit years ago. I think it was on 104 or something, FM 104 at the time. You're going across the Connaught Bridge, and it was take a right at the roundabout, and then you cross the Connaught Bridge.
Yeah.
And it automatically switched to take a left at the Lure Street.
Yeah.
But the more southern you go down to Fox Rock, Dalkey, all those well-to-do areas, you'd get that more kind of American twang.
Yeah.
And it used to be British as well. So the mammies and daddies, the yummy mummies and daddies with the British accent, be like, Fiacre, get inside, you'll catch your debt.
Yeah.
That's all British money. That's all Protestant Church of Ireland money. So they would have all the Brits, if you go back, we're running out of time, but if you go back to history, all the rich Anglo-Irish would have settled on the south coast of Dublin.
Yeah.
That's where all the good land was. That's where you have all the money there, But as time went on, more progressive MTV, American TV, people going to J1s in America. So we never went to J1 to America. Some North Side families would. A lot of the South Side families would have gone to J1. J1 was a month abroad in America during the summer. And they go drinking, and they'd come back with a American accent.
Right.
So they'd leave Dublin T1 at the time, get on the Aer Lingus flight, go over to America. They come back 6 weeks later, no money, drinking problem, and a Californian accent or whatever where they're from.
So there's a kind of a Californian twang to some people. Why is it the anti-American people though? The Irish. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
These people that I'm talking about.
Yeah. We have to think as well, Dan, right? So modern Ireland, right? So you have North Side, South Side, we're talking about Dublin, we're talking about the Pale now, we're inside the Dublin confines, right? I know there's more accents of Cork now, we're not going to go into that, right? We haven't got time. But you have second generation Indian Irish here, you have Asian Irish, you have Chinese, whatever, Malaysian, Polish, Moldovan, it can go on. We have multinational people here, right? Their children don't speak their language, or they speak their language, they don't speak down their accent. So you have a heavy Moldovan man who'd be like, I go to shop. His daughter or son would now have a mixed accent, and they're watching Facebook, Instagram, everything. They're gathering. They don't have an accent. They've no accent. They're not getting North Dublin, South Dublin, because so they will get what they hear and they'll speak, which would be most likely East Coast American accent.
Yeah,
and that's where you get that East Coast accent. Gen Z people now would all have an American accent in Dublin and stuff. The Irish accent is going away because it's being diluted. You won't get a heavy accent. My daughter has an American accent. She's from Navan Meath. She has an American accent, and it swings to a British accent sometimes. It's very weird. She's like, "Daddy, can we go to Nando's?" And I'm like, "What?" And then she speaks American, and then she goes to a Gael school, an Irish school, and she speaks Irish. Yeah. I'll send you a video of her speaking total Californian. South California.
So basically, the internet is the new accent.
The Bible, as I call it, the Bible, the Bible, your phone is the Bible.
It is the new
The
Bible, isn't it?
scripture will tell you what to do. It'll market what to do. You wear the product, and this will market us.
Yeah,
So we want to speak American. Culture is dying out,
yeah,
and we're in the digital age, the digital era, and we're a bit older to know when it started.
yeah,
We've gone through it all, but they're in peak phase now. Gen Z, you know what I mean? They're all in peak phase now. They don't know any different. So a 16-year-old during COVID who's now 21, that would have been their life. Well, they
mm,
weren't allowed to go play sports or whatever.
yeah.
And now that's their thing.
The brain was
Yeah.
developing. Yeah, I remember seeing several times. I see young girls walking around now, like in their 20s probably, and it's like where it gives you your phone. It's like
Yeah.
so the phone is like porn. No, so the
Don't look
phone.
at the photos.
You'll see a girl in like her, I'd say early 20s or whatever, and I've seen several examples of
Mm.
this working around Dublin City, around Grand Canal, around all them areas, and you'll notice it now after, and you viewers and listeners, you probably notice this as well. It reminded me of what you used to see back in the day of like the phone and the vape is like the modern day version of the Bible and the rosary beads,
Yeah.
and they just carry it like that. They clutch it. They clutch it like the old nuns walking around with the Bible and the rosary beads,
Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat.
In the name of Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Socials.
6, 7.
For your penance, do 5 socials.
Yeah. That's what it's like now, though.
It is. It's scary. It's scary. It is very scary. And like, I'm actually doing an episode now. Again, I'm trying
Where does it go? It goes towards being robots, doesn't it?
I'm working on an episode now at the moment. Again, I'm working on an episode about social media addiction, and we're coming at the end of it. But it takes a lot. You know yourself creating content and that. Like, I'm looking at the start of it all. The first social media app, right? It came out in 1997, and it was primarily in New York, and it was called 6 Degrees. 6 Degrees, the very first social media app. It failed because not enough people on the internet. You know what I mean? The second one to come in was called Friendster, very original Friendster, and that came out in like '99, and that failed as well. And believe it or not, the third one and the longest running social media app is LinkedIn.
Oh,
That came out in 2003, and
okay.
it's still around. And then we had the Bebos, the Facebook in '06, but they've all changed over time because the first one was literally about, your 6 degrees. It was just like meeting people in chat rooms and all. Then Friendster was you had just one friend, and he was your Friendster.
Yeah.
Then it grew legs. Bebo, remember you had your other half and all on Bebo. And then Facebook changed the game with the news feeds because you had your one-on-one friends on the other socials, and then Facebook was you were putting out what you were doing, and it was news feed. The news feed changed it.
Yeah.
And then TikTok revised it again in 2016 because TikTok was the first one to get the algorithm going. If you're looking at a picture of a cat eating a grilled cheese sandwich, TikTok knew you like cats and cheese, and now would start sending you videos about cats and cheese. So it's constantly evolving, like everything evolves. If anything stays still, it dies.
Yeah.
Everything has to keep moving. But the sad thing is people are programmed into this, and you know yourself, the Bible and the rosary beads, and it's sad times we're in, but I feel like we're coming out of it. I feel like people are starting to kind of go back out and socialise. Like we were talking about going to the pub and all. Pubs are closing left, right, and centre.
Yeah,
There's no night.
yeah.
How many nightclubs used to go back in the day? We had the nightclubs. Any chance we got? Nassau Street. Remember the slow dance?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went there that Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah, the slow dance on Nassau Street. That's gone.
Oh, what was the name of it? The place?
Club Nassau.
Club Nassau.
Yeah, great
Jesus
times.
Christ.
Nightclubs are dying out because
Oh, bring back the slow dance somewhere, please. Is the slow dance still
Never
going
seen you
anywhere?
looking so
Listeners and
lovely as
viewers?
you did tonight.
Yeah. Never seen you looking so lovely. And then the lights come on. Oh, jeez.
I remember that night we went, and I was chatting to this lovely woman from the south side. She spoke like this, and she was like, "Oh, you're just delightful, darling." She was doing yoga and everything, and she's like, "Let's go back to my place." And she lived in like Foxrock or something. And then this is the time we were talking about economic choices. I was like, I put a €20 in my bank. A taxi back to her is at least 25. So if I get there, I'm not getting back, But that was when I was being smart.
So she missed out.
She missed out. I don't know if I think you pulled a last that night.
Oh, no, I nearly did. I ended up getting in a row with her. Again, it was taxi related. I was locked. Anyway, she was a good bit older than me. And we were, the slow dance was over. I'd successfully navigated it and wooed her through the slow dance. So I was at the next stage now, gave her a kiss. You know yourself. And then the real chats that the bar closes, and that's when it comes to the crunch, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I was like,
Fergie time.
Yeah, Fergie time. Yeah. It's important time then. And next thing you know, the buzzer's about to go, and I'm taking me shot, I'm shooting me shot. So I was like, look, do you want to come out? Just come on. Yeah. Just come back. I'm not going to do it. We don't have to do it.
We all make mistakes. I can be your mistake.
Yeah. And then she's like, no. I said, look, she goes, no, I don't have enough money for a taxi. I says, I'll pay for everything. And then she's like, what do you think I am? Some kind of prostitute? And then she legged it.
She legged it down an alleyway.
Down an alleyway, yeah. I ran after her. No, I didn't.
I aggressively walked towards her.
Yeah. So I didn't pull that night, is what I'm saying.
We had a good night, though. We had a good experience. We could say we were in, and I think you heard that from a friend. This is all pre-social. You heard about Nassau Street, Club Nassau, and having the slow dance. And we said, you know what? It was a Sunday. Me and you used to always go on Sundays.
Yeah.
We were Sunday men.
Yeah.
We'd stay in all weekend, hibernating, and we'd go out on a Sunday. We'd always have a good time. We get the bus in or taxi in, and then we'd always have a Monday kebab. Not kebab, excuse me. That pizza place. Pizza Max, yeah. That meal deal for a tenner. That'd be about €400 now, that meal deal. It was a tenner at the time.
Imagine rent, $3.90 a month, tenner meal deal.
Yeah. The garlic dip was free, you'd pay about...
Yeah.
You had to get like a Carna payment now to get the garlic dip.
My God, how times have changed. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for having me, Dan. Pleasure.
Where can people find you? Give us all the deets.
Well, if you want to waste 20 minutes of your life per week, the Bare Necessities podcast will be on Spotify. It'd be just type in the Bare Necessities podcast. You'll find us on Spotify.
BEAR Necessities.
Yeah. And Instagram as well. So we're getting better at the moment. We're putting in a lot of work. So 20-minute episodes, very quick and concise. So you can stick it on your car or you can watch the video. But give us a follow anyway. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Alright. Goodbye everyone and see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Good luck now.
Cheers, bro.
Alright.
It was great. Thank you.
Stuff.